All right. Welcome to another broadcast of Truth Be Told, where an experience becomes truth. I'm Tony Sweet, and we have a great show for you guys today. Dean Ryan, how you doing?
Oh, hey, Tony. I didn't know you were there. How are you?
Oh, well, thank you.
Where have you been? You're such a wallflower.
You sound like my parents.
Oh, they're right.
Oh, I didn't know you were there, huh?
It's therapy.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a brave new world.
For some.
You told me that Hillary Clinton was going to win, and I believe it was on this show that yours truly made the prediction that Donald Trump was going to win.
You even said Hillary is going to win.
Excuse me.
Yeah, we have a tape of this.
You're such a propagandist. What I said is she's going to try to steal it and probably win.
Yeah.
However,
Well, the system was rigged.
You know, I'm about to rig this show in a second. Let me get through my thoughts here. My
Okay,
God,
fine.
got the odds against me. Anyways, she won, or he won, and she lost. But with that said, I want to welcome back the liberals to the anti-war movement now that are now tuning into the show that have disappeared because their workhorse Obama was in office and has signed the NDAA, signed all these draconian laws, renewed the Patriot Act, and they're all for it. Now they're like, oh my God, Donald Trump has those powers now. So welcome back to that demographic now that's watching this show. I've been here for 8 years, preaching this. Welcome back. How you doing?
I'm waiting for crickets, but there you go. Hey, Captain Ron is in the house. How you doing, Captain Ron? What do you think about the craziness that
well, I was wrong too. I was completely wrong. I said to you guys, I said electoral wise, she has zero chance. That he has zero chance. And she did get the popular vote, which we'll talk about today in the news. But
she's still 5 states.
She still got killed. She got killed electorally.
She's killed many.
So am I allowed to pipe in yet, or should I wait?
Oh, we do have a special guest.
Well, we should mention
that. Not the burning bush of God.
Careful with that.
Hey now.
The voice
Respect.
of God. We have a special guest. She's going to be chiming in on the news. Miss Nicole Nogrady.
Hey,
And
Nicole.
Isn't that great?
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of people watch that.
Put this up here. She's so committed to the show already that
Look at
says
that,
truth right on her wrist there. Truth be told.
And I
it
think
says
everyone
I've been
that
a
listens
truther
should be doing that.
for 10 years now.
But she has a very unique perspective, and she's going to be joining us really hardcore after the first break. And also, she's going to have a counterpoint resistance activist go against her.
So you're saying the second half of the show is going to be a cat fight this afternoon?
Right, and I'm Don King. I'm orchestrating the fight. We're taking bets. So anyways.
I'm not here to fight. I'm here to tell my own truth. And if it turns into a fight, that'll be on their end.
That is peace through strength.
Did you bring popcorn?
Yeah, that's peace through strength. It's all about the love. So anyways, that's coming up in the second half of the show. But Tony, again, there's so much news going on. I cannot sleep anymore. I am literally turning into a Hollywood zombie because I cannot sleep. I have insomnia. Is that what it's called?
I think so.
It's the energy.
Or schizophrenia, one or the other. But again,
or both.
So
There's medication for everything you just mentioned. So
exactly, that's why we need those sponsors. But
hey,
anyways,
there's also melatonin.
Yes, there is melatonin.
You can try that instead.
Yeah.
I don't think Dean would like that one.
Yeah, no.
I'm a big fan.
Are you?
I love that.
I think some
Absolutely.
Ambien right now. But anyways, Captain Ron, tell me, educate me. You are my portal to the world because I don't pay attention to the world. That's just how it goes. I pay attention to what
Are you going to play your fruity little music or no?
What music?
You ready?
I'm waiting for it.
What he's talking about?
All right, the news.
There's
with
that
Captain
sound
Ron.
again.
Well, we all know that Trump won. Now, since Trump won, shockingly, there's been nonstop protests in the streets. Cities like Portland, New York, Dallas, Miami, Orlando. Many cities have had, every single night they seem to have a rally or a protest. LA's had it. They've had it all weekend long. It seems like they're continuing to go. The biggest place is around downtown New York, of course. So Bernie Sanders, they asked him about this. He says people are angry, people are upset.
People are paid by George Soros.
Well, there's a little bit of that going on.
There's
That's
a
what
lot
Trump
of
said.
that going on.
That's a rumor.
No, it's not.
But in all these different cities, I think a lot of people, they say, are organically just coming out, and a lot of them just want to, be among people that feel the same way
They
they
just
do.
want to play. They want to get along and play guitar.
They're trying to digest
They're young
this.
millennials, and they need to go get a job. But that's just my opinion, right?
Wow, I'm feeling.
Wow. Wonder which side she's going to be
Are
on.
you millennial?
You know what? I feel like the millennials.
She's not a rioter.
She just looks it.
I'm what?
You're not one of the protesters.
I was born in 1983, so I'm not exactly sure where that would
Same as
fit
me.
in
That's what
with the
Yeah,
millennials.
I was 84.
What'd you say?
84, 81, 84, 83. We're all in the same sort of.
We're all Reagan
ish.
babies.
Okay.
Ish.
I've never really identified with a lot of the stances that millennials have taken. I've
I'm
kind
more of a
been
World
in
War II generation
various-
that I identify with. So I totally get you, but Ron, you are wrong. Just before you even go further.
I'm wrong?
Yeah, I feel that you are. So I don't know yet about what, but I just kind of feel it.
Whatever I say next.
Yeah,
I'm
no
not.
matter.
This is my opinion.
No,
Are you
I'm just
married?
saying. No,
Are
I'm
you
just
guys married?
saying. Ron today, he's rubbing me like a kidney stone. I don't know what it is about him.
Well,
I've got a problem.
your brother Bernie Sanders is also saying we should take a look at the Electoral College, which we all talked about before the show a little bit.
Well, I was
Even Trump did,
wondering.
though.
I was
Trump
wondering
did too.
I
He's
was
been
won-
saying that all along.
I was wondering what he was going to say. I've been waiting hand and foot on what he was going to say. Bernie Sanders, my Lord and Savior. Continue.
A lot of people. There's still millions of votes that haven't been counted yet. I didn't realize that till today.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I did.
There's like 7 million votes that they haven't counted
Oh
yet.
my God.
And it doesn't matter because obviously he's already won the electoral votes. But
There's just going to be even more for him.
well, actually, they're saying that based on where they're from or whatever, they think it's going to give, when it's all said and done, she's going to have between 2 and 3 million lead as far as overall votes is concerned.
But
Which is
how many of those
fascinating.
are the 110-year-old dead voters who were registered to vote absentee?
You know what? Let me just
Wow.
tell you something. You're taking my lines now.
I'm sorry.
I'm like, I'm,
Really?
I'm
We're on
used
the
to him
same
saying
page.
that.
Yeah, can we mute her mic until I'm ready?
Because I'm sure the other side doesn't do that. Only apparently
Right,
the
right.
Democrats do that.
Ron, shame on you.
So, I mean, it's an antiquated system, though, this electoral thing. It's from the 1700s. It made sense back then. It's tough to believe now. What do you think about the Electoral College?
I actually watched a video on YouTube that explained the Electoral College a little bit more in detail to me, and I want to watch it again a couple times so that I really feel like I understand it. But it did show me that there is still validity having to do with populations in certain states. Certain states are just larger than other states.
Yeah,
and
because then they don't get a. They
Right.
don't
Nobody
get
would
a
pay
It's not a fair
attention.
say.
If you're
For
not
Rhode
New York or
Island.
LA, they wouldn't pay attention.
No
to
one
you.
would go to Catalina Island and.
And let me tell you what right now we're dealing with is we are dealing with basically LA, who I'm sorry has been, so I worked in the entertainment industry for 10 years. I moved here 11 years ago today, and I worked on different TV shows, and it was working on those shows that I really started to see sort of the, I don't want to say mind control, but I started seeing agendas, and I got into conspiracies, and I started linking together the conspiracies with what I was seeing and feeling being on set, and, and then seeing what I was seeing on TV, and just watching America go in a wrong direction based on what we are influenced with on television. And what we're seeing right now is we're seeing LA is super upset and New York is super upset. But I'm sorry, I'm standing with middle America. I'm standing with all of the people that have lost their jobs, whose towns have gone barren. Their jobs have been sent overseas. And when I really started researching these people and their families and started pulling myself out of LA, who's completely obsessed with itself and wants to just give award after award to itself. I mean, we've seen all the celebrities who are just crushed and they can't believe this is happening. And I'm like, hello, middle America. Yeah, we watch your movies, but they're smart. They're not really listening to the crap that's coming out of your mouth. They're doing their own research, and they're tired of not working.
I'm going to ask you this real quick. Do you think it's establishment, or do you think it's Democrat, Republican, or what do you think that is that people are falling for? Because
well, the establishment in Los Angeles are in cahoots. They've always
Right.
been, and that's the thing is Hollywood has been a mechanism of control with programming.
Yeah, but Tony's asking
Mind
you
program.
why.
Oh.
What do you think? Why is there such this Trump out of nowhere? Why is it?
He's not out of nowhere. For anyone that's been paying attention and watching the rallies in their full, I knew he was going to win by a freaking landslide. I would watch the rallies live on YouTube. And that way I wasn't watching. I got rid of my cable about 7 years ago, and I don't even have Netflix. I have Apple TV, and that way I can go on my Apple TV, I can punch in whatever I want to watch, and I can see it. I was literally watching this election with a completely non-biased standpoint, and I did it on purpose. I didn't want to see any propaganda. Because now if you're going on Facebook, there's all these videos that are being posted about, watch this clip that was on this news station of what he said about immigration, and then watch the full clip. And when you watch the full clip, you realize exactly how they totally manipulated what he said, and what he said was completely angering even to me. But it was because I watched the unedited versions and saw what he was saying that 6 months ago. That's when I got on the Trump train, because I listened to what this man was saying about our country, and he's completely right about a lot of things.
Let's re-pick up on that, because we got somebody coming on with us in about 15 minutes that is willing to tell you the complete polar opposite.
Well, then she obviously
We'll let
has
these two
done her
fight.
homework.
Yeah.
Well, here's something.
I know
Maybe
we
you're
got
going to
some
join this. So, in celebration of this victory, coming up in North Carolina in December,
Where? North Carolina?
the Ku Klux Klan is be holding a parade. They say that the Loyal White Knights of Pelham, North Carolina, on December 3rd, they said that on their website, Ku Klux Klan's website, it says that Trump's race united my people.
Really?
That doesn't mean that he supports them, though. In fact,
It does not.
Are they giving
rally, and that's the thing, is the media is going to show you that. They're not going to show you the clip of him saying, "I don't endorse the Ku Klux Klan. I don't want their support."
They have.
You
Even just today or yesterday, he said, "Stop it."
Good.
That's
I
right.
mean, they're showing it.
That's
so.
good.
Hey,
They absolutely do.
They have no choice now but to start reporting on the truth, because they realize that they have been reporting a lot of lies.
well,
We only report the truth here on Truth Be Told, right, Dean?
that's the truth.
Well, this is our truths.
But no, it is this election, Tony, was a referendum on the mainstream media. I think, as much as it was we hate Hillary, it was a win for us, and I'm very proud of this this establishment here in what we've done, getting the WikiLeaks out, talking about all the things that are hard to talk about but need to be talked about, because this is what real journalism is the integrity's there. Are we going to screw up sometimes? Sure. But we're going to, I don't screw up, but some other people.
The other two
You're
people on the show
perfect.
do.
Other people on my team and staff do, but
Right.
this is a boom time
Eddie and Ron.
for real liberty news, real truth, etc. So, you know what I'm saying? Clinton, they want to shut us down. I always say, don't sing it, bring it, because we are on the rise. We are on the march. They're on the run. All right, continue.
That a boy.
Amen. Alternative media.
lot of heat.
I'm getting really pissed off right now.
You shouldn't be.
So you got all these riots going on, or these protests. They've been not riots. They're not violent. There's a lot of people protesting in a lot of cities. Mainly,
A lot of them are violent. Just saying.
Well, they haven't been like horrible. And there's been a lot of people. Go ahead.
About 7 guys dragging a guy out of a car and beating the living daylights out of him and stealing his car and driving away.
Well,
That's
that sounds
not
horrible.
violent. I mean,
But
I've
I can
seen
go the
some-
opposite way, and I know many of my people, and just here locally, have been beat up by Trump supporters.
There you go.
Who?
Trump supporters have not
Santa
been beating
Monica,
people up.
West Hollywood.
Yeah.
No, I
Did you say
I can
Torrance?
disagree on that. Torrance?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, never
Santa
mind.
Monica.
It doesn't count.
Anyway, there's all these. When the election night, they had all these dump trucks and things parked around Trump Tower, where Trump lives, because they were afraid of somebody doing something to the building. Then he won, which was a shock. They left him
No,
there.
it wasn't.
Well, it was a shock to
Okay,
people
okay,
who
okay.
didn't. That they didn't.
Hey, you come
They
down
had
there.
they had planned on moving these trucks.
Okay.
They were only supposed to be there till midnight. And then they said, now that it went this way, they told them all to stay because of security reasons. They didn't want anybody to try to attack his tower or cause any damage. So they have all these big trucks lined up around there. But this is like ground zero now, pardon that pun, for people congregating. There's a lot of people
Right.
protesting and walking around there. And they say that this is going to go on probably for months at least, that when people go to New York, they're going to want to walk around Trump Tower, and it's going to be a
Here's what I
complicated
wanna
mess
know.
for...
Here's what I want to know.
Sure.
What do you want to know?
If they've actually done their research and if they actually followed from a while ago to present day. I have friends who on my Facebook have been like, oh my gosh, like I secretly voted for Trump and I've been watching everything you said and I agree with so much of what you said, and now I'm backtracking and I'm kind of going through the rallies from day one to now, and I'm seeing what you were saying, and I'm like, yeah, if people just took the time to do that. And you know, what are people really protesting? They're protesting the propaganda that's been put in front of them. They're protesting, yeah, he said this over here, he said that over here. But you know what? You're in a race. you're going to flap your mouth. You're going to say things to get attention. And that has been Donald Trump. And if you look at him now, he's very presidential. I don't know if you saw him on 60 Minutes, but I mean, his whole demeanor changed because it's serious. And he even said that. He says, this is very serious
don't you think
now.
the propaganda is what sold him? So now that he's in office and
No.
his demeanor is completely
what
different.
What sold him was people that were actually going to the rallies and really listening to what he was saying about the trouble that we're in. Right now, our border is open.
No,
and people are coming in through South America.
I saw the 60 Minutes last night, and let me tell you, something was very subhuman about that, and it was called Leslie Stahl. She looked like an alien.
She did look-
Reptilians.
Wow.
She's
That's
just
Friday's
saying.
show.
No, I mean,
right.
I'm not. I don't get into that mix much often, but I'm telling you, bar none.
I didn't even know she
Can we
still
say,
around.
do you know who David Icke is?
She looked like Keith Richards. That's what I'm saying. That's how I'm
Well,
gonna
that's
go
the
there.
next
I'm gonna
story.
go there. I'm gonna go there. I'm getting really freaked out.
What's interesting about all these people congregating around Trump Tower is that he is already talking to advisors to see how often he has to be in the White House. He's going to try to stay in Trump Tower as often as he can, which is very interesting because most people move into the White House.
Can I say why I believe why that is?
Let's cut to you and see why. Go ahead,
His
Nicole.
family is very important to him. He has 10 grandchildren and 5 children of his
This
own.
isn't a negative thing. See, this is the news. He just said that he wants to live there.
No,
It's
but I was
not
going
like
to
a
say, no, what I was
negative.
going to say is why I think just to give people perspective because
I'm
they'll take
not
that
the
and they'll
cat
twist
mouse
it.
thing. That's the next
no,
story.
I know.
Hey, this is just a fact.
You know, his son may be. I need to research more, but his son may be mild autistic, and Melania doesn't have him
Okay.
That's
being
For
taken care
that
of by
reason,
someone else.
he is
and
going to
so
be doing that.
I think could have something to do with his family being close to him, which
well,
is why he
I
doesn't
would
want to be
think
in the
living
White House. I don't.
living in DC
Meaning.
is not like DC kind of sucks.
It
Like who would want to
You know,
live
he
like
might
it
that?
want
doesn't
his
matter
family to
why,
be in a
folks. I'm
comfortable-
just letting you know that that's why they are.
No, we're
afraid
gonna
of
get to
more
the bottom
different-
of
But if
this-
we're going to be progressive, you know, I mean, if you want to talk about being progressive and changing things around, I mean, maybe it would make our president be
Tony
be a better
Sweet. Let me
president,
ask
not-
you: if Tony Sweet has a master condo in Manhattan, and it's amazing, does Tony Sweet move into the White House to go, live like a prisoner?
For me, I probably would just for the respect of the office, but no. I mean, if
I don't
he
think
doesn't
you-
want to, I mean, George.
No, I think
I don't think anyone's going to be bothered
think
by this.
he-
Do
no,
you?
because George Bush spent a lot of time in Texas
On
so,
vacation,
I mean,
right.
Obama was on vacation and golfing most of the time.
I think only
But-
hardcore people are.
no,
gonna
but
have a hard
Captain
time with
Ron.
this.
I mean, maybe he could do.
and it would be
half
better
and
in my
half.
apartment anyway. So
Well, that's what I'm saying because maybe Tony
I think
Sweet's
it's so
friends-
meaningless. I can't even believe that would be an
I-
issue.
I
I was
wa-
just saying it as like.
Well,
it's
you
just-
started a heated
But apparently, it
debate.
got people heated up.
I know.
I don't think that the rest of the world's going to have a big issue with this. I don't think it's a big deal at
I
all.
think Cambodia.
Let me
might
tell you,
be
the
pissed
liberals
off.
will though. They'll find anything right now to try and it's basically a side of positive and negative.
but that's
like
I mean that's any election, anybody, any Democratic or
That's par for the
Republican.
course, right.
You're going to find something wrong. Something wrong. They're going to always find
Right.
something wrong. So I mean,
So Trump was on last night. Did you watch that too, Tony?
I didn't see that one.
Okay,
On
well, we
60
did.
Minutes.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
on, and he was very presidential and everything, but he stuck to some of his guns, and he softened on some others. Like, he's definitely saying that he wants 2, maybe even 3 million people out of the country immediately. He's going to try to get the criminals, gang members, and all of the illegals out. And he did soften a little bit on some of the other stuff, like the Affordable Care Act, which before he was going to get rid of completely. Now he's softened a little bit. He's going to maybe tweak it. He says replace it immediately, with a new system that he's working on. He's still going to try to get Mexico to pay for the wall, although they're softening on that as well. And the wall, even, she brought up that some of it will be just a fence, and he said that's fine. But they're going to secure the borders first, and then they're going to look at the rest of people that are not documented living here. So he's still sticking to some of those guns.
But he's also said that he would fast track, people who are contributing to society and, aren't a threat.
Yeah.
You know,
there you have
and
it.
he's a businessman, you guys. He's not going to do something that's going to completely mess
Captain
things
Ron.
up. Come on.
Together, Ron.
Well,
Sorry, the wine is kicking in.
the other thing he did was he's
talking
appointed several people already. He's only been president-elect for 5-6 days. He's now already appointed a few people. He appointed a guy to what was it, the climate change thing?
Well, let me ask you,
Oh,
do you know who
EPA.
Maurice Strong is?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All
Go ahead.
right. Do you know what geoengineering is?
Yes.
Thank you. I love you over there. I wish I was sitting next to you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
She thinks I'm on the other side of this. For some reason.
By the way,
He's just giving the news.
I'm just
We're just
reading
trying to
the
get
facts,
through the
man.
news here.
Ron, you're getting on my nerves tonight. Continue.
This feels like my Thursday show.
Right.
This is a new experience for me, so I'm still learning.
No, but go ahead.
Okay, so America, along with 200 and some other nations, signed this thing in 2015, the Paris Climate Change Act.
I remember that.
Well, Trump's already trying to get rid of that. Trump's position is that global warming is a hoax. Is that how you feel?
Well, here's the thing: so Maurice Strong pretty much coined the term, global warming, and made trillions of dollars on it, and it's a huge business. It's a huge business, okay? And yes, our climate is changing, but my personal belief, and from what I've studied, is the reason why we are seeing the visible, or feeling, and seeing the visible effects of climate change is due to geoengineering, which there's another name for it, which will get a lot of flack, but I'm going to say it.
What is it?
Chemtrails. And you can argue that they're contrails all day long, but they're not. When you actually, there's a documentary.
We could totally go hardcore into that, and we have.
Yeah, I mean, that's a
past
coast-to-coast topic. I mean, we've done that.
Well, back on the topic of climate change, I from what I've pieced together on my own is that climate change is being induced, but due to humans, but not in the way they're saying. It's being changed with these geoengineering programs like weathermodificationinc.com. You can go on there. There's some interesting stuff there, but
well, it's the interesting thing is that 200 countries signed on to do this.
Well, yeah, because it's
right?
a multi-million-dollar, but
and most scientists in the world also support this.
a lot of scientists counter it,
right?
And you got to read what they have to say. But
that's
what I was going to say is sun cycles. Cycles.
I've read a lot about this.
Okay.
All right.
But that's not what is in the news right now, though.
They're trying to
point
defame what
is-
he's saying. I get it.
The point. Okay, then we don't have to do the news because she's already kind of saw it right to the end. How's the story end? Tell us how the movie.
We all died. No, I'm just kidding.
So basically, the point is, despite America recently doing a lot of advancements in this, and Obama signing the Clean Power Act, the Clean Power Plan, excuse me, we've made all these movements to that direction, and now Trump has already said he's going to pull out of the Paris deal. He's now tapped a guy to be in charge of the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, and that guy is with Trump. He thinks that the global warming thing is
I
a
agree.
scam.
Well,
I
let me-
agree. I
let me
agree.
just,
and I think that geoengineering is the number one thing that we need to tackle because it needs to stop because it's
I
Well,
wanna-
this is
destroying
dangerous. This is scary.
ecosystems.
let me just say this to Captain Ron.
And it's
Tell me.
environmental change that we need to be focusing on, not climate change. Climate change is due to sun cycles.
Hold on, wait, hold the soapbox real quick.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to say is the Climate Change Bureau in London got caught doing fraudulent email after email saying, hey, the climate's getting cool, it's cooling, we have to get it back on it's man-made global warming. The narrative is they want to put the carbon taxes. Is the planet heating? Sure. Is there money behind it and a nefarious agenda? I can make that case all day. But anyways, I'm just saying there's more to this than our audience may or may not know.
That's true.
Okay.
But the point of my story was just who got appointed to the EPA. But I've opened up Pandora's box. I have two more announcements I hate to even make. Who's the chief of staff?
Oh, is it Breitbart?
That's Renice Priebus or whatever.
Ryan's.
RNC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the RNC.
That's him. And then the other one he named today was the who's the guy we're talking? Bannon. Steve Bannon.
That's
And-
Breitbart.
Yes.
Breitbart, yeah.
And now
Yep.
what's that? So this guy is an alt media guy who's been extremely
Successful with readers. They have 37 million readers per month.
right. Okay.
37. They just got 37 million readers.
I don't know much about Breitbart other than
They're
Andrew
like ranked number one for like all.
Well, I know Andrew Breitbart.
Breitbart.
I know that he died in a very interesting way, and that's about all I know about
Steve
him.
Bannon did not though, and
He's still alive. Yes.
but he's got a lot of flack because it's an extremist website. It's very notorious.
Really?
How is it extremist? I've been reading it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's happening. Oh yeah, that's
Well, not everyone shares your views apparently.
true.
No,
Well,
Captain
if you
Ron.
read facts.
Captain Ron, tell me how it's extreme, please. No,
No,
continue.
I'm not. I'm just reading the headline.
Captain Ron, read the headline.
I have no opinion on this whatsoever.
No. So what is
I was just
what is
naming the people that he has hired so far.
what does the article say? It's extreme, or who else is?
They said that this guy was in charge of an extremist website, notorious for saying anti-Semitic things, and
Why don't we pull it up right now and read some of it, and then we can judge, because we're pretty much
that's
talking.
next week's show, sweetheart.
Okay, I was gonna say we're judging something that we don't actually have.
All right,
pulled up
so
in front of
okay,
us
hold
right
on.
now.
Let me just get.
Just saying.
The second half of the show is going to be awesome. If you guys like wrestling, wait till these two go at it in the next half, because I'm almost done with the news, and then these two
He
ladies.
hates me already.
Listen, I have no opinion on this. I'm just a reporter. I'm just saying what happened.
we have one more story to go. Here we go.
Do we have another story?
Do you have one?
Well, I was just going to mention that for the first time in history, it's okay to say this, that Trump has 75 current lawsuits against him. That is a unique thing. It's okay. I'm going to be hit. I feel like I'm just going to get whacked. It's just the truth. It's clear he's got all these court battles going on. That's the first time it's happened. I'm just reporting the fact.
What do you mean first time it's happened? That someone with
had that many lawsuits against them when they were elected to the presidency.
How many lawsuits?
Look at him lean
well,
over.
yeah, because people are like, I'm seeing the money.
How many lawsuits? From?
Okay, 75. So
I mean, there was a part of me that was like, well, I was in one of his pageants when I was 20.
in other news,
We can talk about that later.
the last thing I have before we go to the break, which we do have to take a break here, is folks, today, get away from all this nonsense. It's a huge supermoon. It's the first time in like 75 years. It's the largest moon you'll ever see outside of Dean's backside. And
I know that was coming.
it's supposed to be unbelievable, and tonight's the night to see it. So if you can, go outside, check it out. It's going to look enormous. And
Take
be
your crystals
fantastic.
outside. Charge
It doesn't
those
happen
babies
again
up.
until what, 2034, I think, something like that. So
That's a while away.
I'll be in my 60s. So.
check that out. I'll be in my
and-
40s, so
And
should we go to break real quick?
Well, we have a break, and too, Tony, we should tell the audience that we have some very cool holiday specials coming up for this holiday season.
Don't talk about Christmas yet. Thanksgiving hasn't happened.
Well, I won't.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, we gotta.
Dean's about to tell us about our Halloween special.
I still feel like that hasn't even happened
No,
yet.
we're going to be doing some really cool specials. Also, we're going to be including Eddie Connor from Friday's show and doing some Christmas special reports and some really cool things coming up in the next remainder of the year. So I'm looking forward to that, Mr. Tony Sweet. I don't know about you.
I am. You ready to take a break?
I'm going to go put on protective gear.
I know.
It's this next half of the show, folks. If you like wrestling,
Subscribe to this channel. You never know what's going to happen.
Catfight
All right, well, this
2016.
is Truth Be Told, where experience becomes truth. We'll be back in just a minute.
United States Pharmacopoeia, USP, sets the standard for most food supplements and are used in over 95% of all vitamin and mineral supplements in the world. The problem is that these products have never appeared in any living tissue. They're created in laboratories and are not recognizable to the body's metabolism. Grown by Nature products are different because they use renatured ingredients, proprietary blends of essential vitamins and minerals with cofactors of proteins, lipids, and complex carbohydrates. Over 50 studies have been conducted on renatured nutrients, and over 20 have been published in peer-reviewed journals proclaiming their superiority. As a result, Grown by Nature vitamins and supplements are now recognized as simply the best available. Call 877-817-9829. That's 877-817-9829 and order your Grown by Nature products today. We are what we eat, and since we are of nature, we should eat foods in their natural form. Only Grown by Nature offers a full line of renatured nutrients. Call 877-817-9829. That's 877-817-9829 because not all products are grown by nature, but they should be.
Do you suffer from anxiety, from depression, maybe even chronic pain? Well, listen up. Truth Be Told is going to tell you about a breakthrough program built on over 100 years of therapies used in America's returning veterans to help you successfully overcome PTSD, anxiety attacks, pain, and depression. The secret proven in study after study. Music therapy. The effects of music are nothing short of amazing. From strokes to PTSD, music has been shown to improve the quality of life. Now, one of the latest music therapy programs being used in America's veteran hospitals can be yours to experience for free at home and to help your own anxiety attacks, pain, and depression. Or just relax after a hard day. It's called Whole Tones. It takes music therapy to a new level. This revolutionary program makes use of specifically designed frequencies that have been shown to stimulate your body's natural healing power down to a cellular level. If it works for battle-scarred vets, can it work for you? Well, experience it for yourself for free at sweetwholetones.com. Like Tony Sweet, that's SWEET. Go to sweetwholetones.com. Now enjoy the show. Welcome back to Truth Be Told, where an experience becomes truth. I'm Tony Sweet. We're back, and we're going to have a great debate.
Catfight. Oh, debate.
Oh, debate.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that
Sorry,
too.
debate.
But I'm going to let Dean introduce our guests.
Well, thank you so graciously, Tony Sweet.
Sure, Dean.
This is a real treat for the audience. If anyone is watching the news or the so-called news that it's not watching this channel, you notice there's riots going on across the country. There's a lot of hardcore debates and posts on social media from friends, families, foes, acquaintances, you name it, across the board. This is an amazing time to be alive. And the lady that joined us during the news, her name is Nicole Nogrady. She's joining us today. She's an LA activist, and she has some very interesting opinions on this election. And
We already heard some of those earlier in the news.
Yes, we did, Captain Ron, and she has some interesting opinions on why Donald Trump is going to be good for the country. Also joining us today on Skype is a writer, a entrepreneur. Her name is Angela Hall. She is calling us from Colorado, I believe. I believe it's Denver, Colorado. Is she? Angela,
She's on.
Angela, can you hear me today? Thank you for joining us.
I'm here. Thank you for having me. And it is Denver, Colorado.
I guessed correctly. I mean, it's always Denver or Boulder. But anyways, Angela, I want to welcome you to the program because, I've been paying attention to your posts, like many friends of mine across social media, and you have a very passionate take on this whole election season. And quite personally, I am quite fatigued from the election, Tony.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I am so tired physically and mentally. But with that said, I know you were a big Bernie Sanders supporter. And can we talk about that? How was that for you, seeing Bernie Sanders get out of the race and then them propping up Hillary Clinton? What was that like for you as a Bernie Sanders supporter?
It was extremely disappointing. I remember when Elizabeth Warren endorsed Hillary, it was extremely heartbreaking. I almost stopped watching her completely. It was... and then Rachel Maddow, when she endorsed Hillary as well, I just feel like those are the three people that I really respect a lot. I feel like for the most part, they share their voice and their opinion, and they don't hold back, and they're willing to put, any hierarchy, I don't know what you would call it, big money, anybody in the spotlight,
Sure.
call them out. I really appreciate that. And then, and that's one of the reasons I really admired Bernie Sanders so much, is he, has a record of doing exactly the same, even when
Sure.
his opinion isn't popular. And when they all kind of threw him under the bus, it was, you expect it from kind of everybody else. But
Absolutely. And
yeah.
Angela, just to chime in, he literally, as someone that participated in the last election 4 years ago, he had such a movement behind him, like Ron Paul did 4 years ago with the Libertarian Republican realm. And I can tell you, it was so sad for me to see him begrudgingly having to endorse Hillary Clinton. And let me tell you something. The Clintons are people that I've been investigating as a journalist for years. It just didn't start 3-4 weeks ago. And for me to see him endorse such a crime syndicate foundation like that, such a flawed candidate, if not a flawed, treasonous person like that, it really hurt me. And I wasn't 100% behind Bernie, but I could appreciate what he was talking about and the motivation and the passion and the belief in what he was saying. So I think it hurt me on a personal level to see him almost like having to do that. And then I later find out in the WikiLeaks that they were blackmailing him the whole time and threatening him behind the scenes. I mean, that disgusted me. But, of course, my MSNBC didn't tell me that, so I had to go actually do this thing called reading past the headline. And it was tough for me to do, but I did it. But you know, Tony, what I'm talking about, Tony Sweet?
I do.
Yeah. So
yes.
but
I'm
I want
just feeling like a yes day.
yeah.
But
I
I'm
want
staying out of the fray. Yeah.
I want to bring in Nicole, our other guest here, Nicole Nogrady.
Hi, how's it going?
Nicole, I mean, you're kind of on the Trump side of things.
Kind
But I want to ask you before we get into where we are now. I want to ask you just, did you kind of feel that begrudging?
Oh, I voted for Bernie.
Oh, I did
Completely, yeah.
Okay, so you
Listen,
understand what I'm talking about.
Listen, I have a heart, and my interest is in what this country needs, and I completely agreed with so much of what Bernie was saying. But when when he basically got cheated out of the election by the Clintons, that's when I really made my decision to really do my research. And I have not been a fan of the Clintons for a long time. And like you said, it hasn't just been a few months. It's been years. And, and, you know, I really then took the time and the chance to then say, okay, I'm going to look at what Trump has to say, because Bernie's already out. And obviously he started supporting Hillary because, quite frankly, I believe through the WikiLeaks that really he had no choice. And, you know, I mean, we know there's a lot of body bags behind Clinton, so I'm sure he didn't want to be in one of them.
The body language is seeing him doing
Absolutely.
that. It was like, oh
Yeah,
my
it was
God, I
heartbreaking.
have to do this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but were you never Hillary, or were you just?
I was a never Hillary because I have just followed the Clinton crime family for so long, and I'm sorry, but her, you know, I read a lot of things about her based from back in college. And that my opinion on the Clinton marriage is that it has been a political business relationship for a very long time.
well, right. I mean, it's been admitted that House of Cards on Netflix was modeled after the Clintons.
Exactly.
In fact, Bill
Yep.
Clinton said himself, it's exactly what's going on behind the scenes. But let me get back to Angela real quick. Angela, going forward, because we're trying to sum up this whole election, because it's really corrupted a lot of friendships and relationships, and people are losing their wit and nerve. But rounding it up, now when Bernie Sanders endorsed Hillary Clinton, did that really entice you to get fully behind Hillary Clinton because Bernie said so? Or did it because you really were afraid of what Donald Trump was going to be like had he won?
I was a lot like Nicole. I believe that was her name. That's
Hi.
on YouTube.
Yes,
Hi.
yes, you got it.
When she said that she was a never Hillary, you know, that whole hashtag that was going around, I was totally in line with that. I am totally in line with a lot of things that she said and you said regards to Hillary. And I didn't know about the WikiLeaks with Sanders, you know, and then blackmailing him, but I could tell, you know, there's a sixth sense of it about these things. It was completely obvious with his body language and everything. Something was going on behind the scenes. It didn't flow. So I ended up voting for Hillary, even though it's something I really did not want to do. But it was because of a big portion of, you know, he decided to endorse her, and I trust his. I really trust, you know, his, you know, he's had hindsight every step of the way, it seems, for the, you know, most part, you know, even when everybody didn't fall in line with him. So I knew there was a reason why he was doing that, even if he was being blackmailed. You know, I don't know, you know, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And the other half was, I've also known quite a few people with Donald Trump's personality type, and they do not produce good results. And off of, you know, his history and I'm terrified of Donald Trump.
May I ask you honestly, how much research have you done going back, looking at Donald Trump? Like there's actually a really great video on YouTube, and it basically shows Donald Trump from when he was, I don't know how old you are, but I'm in my early 30s, and it was showing Donald Trump from his early 30s all the way up to present day. And that video was probably actually the video that really convinced me. That, along with the fact that I've researched, I said, you know what? I want to know who this man is, and I want to know who he is based on who his family is, because the apple doesn't fall very far from the tree. And when you look at his children, you say, well, even if he is this crazy man that people are so afraid of, how the heck did his kids turn out to be such lovely people? And that's where, you know, honestly, I went on Instagram and I started following all of his kids. I was like, I want to see what their life is like. I want to know who Ivanka Trump is. I want to know what her life is like. You know, she's actually married. Her husband is Jewish. She converted to Judaism so she could marry him. And Trump has absolutely no problem with it. He has a great relationship with his son-in-law.
Well, that's a good question, Angela, as someone who supported Bernie. Was there ever an instance that you said, hey, wait a minute, Bernie and Donald are kind of similar on the trade deals and some of the rhetoric? Was there ever an instance where you said, hey, I should really get past the mainstream narrative of who Donald Trump is and actually maybe kind of see for myself and what he wants to do? Did that ever entice you at any point or time?
I don't know everything about any of the candidates, and I think like a lot of American people, this election has really inspired me to do more research. Can't know everything,
Good,
but
good.
I did do some digging on my own. A lot of that was, on stances where, Trump stood previous to really being serious about politics and, his relationships with different people and, just generally how he treats and talks to a lot of people. And I also wanted to see what the other side, I originally come from Tennessee. Totally Bible Belt. And as you can imagine, every single person I know, except for two that I'm aware of, were supporters of Donald Trump. And, and it just, and I have a different environment now than what I used to. And I can totally relate to them and why they support Donald Trump, especially with a lot of videos and various things that you see. I was also curious about his children and their relationship and, her husband being Jewish. I thought that was amazing and kind of dumbfounding. But it's still, at the end of the day, all of those things do not change Donald Trump and, the words that he says, he never sticks to very much like Hillary in some ways. Like he's always changing
politics.
his opinion and you never really know where he stands. And, that's...
Let me, Tony, let me just jump on that and say, you've seen it yourself. You told me before the show that this country almost and the elements of the young people in the college are like uprising and they're protesting and they're rioting. And Nicole, I gotta bring you into this. Obviously, does that now make you fearful of speaking out in favorable of Trump being called a racist, a misogynist, a bigot?
No, it makes me feel passionate about wanting to get out there and try to show people what I saw that made me end up having the opinion that I had, because I do feel that I am very non-racist. I live in a predominantly black neighborhood, by the way, get along with everyone. And, what you see on Facebook is I'm seeing so many videos of actually a lot of black Americans talking about how they voted for Donald Trump and their reasons why. And, there was a hashtag, I thought it was a joke, but there was hashtag Chinese Americans for Trump, hashtag Sikhs for Trump. There was a collage I posted on my Facebook. I don't know if you saw it. No. Well, but he's not in control of who supports him, right. But we have to look at the positive. I have never in my life seen, after watching these rallies, and he didn't do just one rally, two rally a day. He was doing like 3-4 rallies up to his last few days, and we had thousands of people coming together. And I watched videos of, there was a black kid, I don't know his name, but he had just attended a rally. He was in his car and he was in tears. He goes, it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. People coming together,
sure.
Old, young.
Let me ask Angela. Let me ask you this question: is going forward, a lot of people are saying that the election day of November 9th, when all the results came in, they're equating that to another 9/11. So I want you to speak on that. Is this another 9/11 for a percentage of Americans? And then number one, and number two, what do you have to say to people that, like Nicole, that maybe she's brainwashed by the Trump train? Maybe she doesn't know what she's talking about. So I want you to address those 2 points there.
I don't believe Nicole is any more brainwashed than I am. Unfortunately, with the media, we have
I like her. See? You guys wanted a cat fight, and you're not going to get it.
She's fighting with me, but now they're best friends, and they're on the opposite side.
Listen,
this
it's all about
sense.
unity anyway. I'm sorry. Keep going. Please,
Wait, hold on.
Please.
Shut her mic off, Tony.
Yeah, I totally. I feel like, there are so many layers to this, but it's a just different subject. I think this whole situation really demands of us to show up as the highest version of ourselves, and to really listen, and to really try and understand. And that's the hardest thing to do. I think this political process is really a spiritual process, and we've all been awakened to it.
I like her a lot.
But as far as, I forget,
Fest.
I'm getting distracted. Your question about 9/11.
Yes.
Yes, I do feel like it's very much like 9/11, because I think coming from Tennessee, the thing that really concerns me the most, that is really prominent there, is, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, I'm just sharing my point of view, is
Careful.
that it's very common for somebody to say, I'm not racist, I have a black friend. I'm not,
That's what Tony was saying
against
earlier.
this religion, I have well, there's no Muslim friends there, and nobody's Jewish, but you get the theme.
It's very realistic.
They try and, I have a gay friend, like Kim Davis, I'm not, whatever, I have a gay friend, and that friend is like, when have you ever been a friend to me? I think we really, I would encourage the Trump supporters to really ask themselves why a lot of the hate groups are finding such an affiliation with Trump. They find a kinship for a reason, and they are inspired and excited for a reason. Obviously, so there's some questioning in there, some digging in there. I mean, don't take my word for what I think about it. Find out what they're so excited about.
Angela Hall, if you don't mind, I think I have an answer to this question because of my great research, and I have the documents. Is as much as there's women, there's this demographic of women that hate Donald Trump because of the tone of his voice, his look, because he's white, because he says things that are misogynistic. There is a polar opposite of demographic of guys that are jocks, that are frat guys, that are beer guzzling radio guys, that absolutely find Hillary Clinton disgusting and hate her because she's a woman trying to tell them what to do in their minds. So naturally, there's that demographic, but there's also that predominant demographic in the so-called hate groups, like the KKK, who the NBC, CBS, ABC cameras run to first before anybody else, because there is an agenda to incite a race war.
Yes.
And if that was
Yep.
not obvious by
Yep.
the great Leslie Stahl's, a.k.a. Keith Richards from 60 Minutes last night.
But that's media in general.
That is media, which is multi-ethnic destruction in America. That's what media
Well,
means.
if you look at media goes
Divide and conquer
to
agenda.
media goes to the African Americans that are getting arrested, the gay people that are wearing short shorts. You can go down the list of how media portrays.
No, they go for the niche, stereotypical cliche.
Definitely.
However, with this election, it's very special because, as we found out in the leaked emails, all these people are in the back pocket of Hillary Clinton's pantsuit, and they are given the direct orders of what to ask, what to say, when to say it, because they are DNC operatives like Bill Maher, like Rachel Maddow, who really should have been endorsing Jill Stein for the real rise of the third party movement, like I was, until I realized that Gary Johnson is a flawed turd. But with that said, Angela Hall, if you've followed me through this point in time, isn't this time that we call out the mainstream media with Nicole Nogrady, Tony Sweet, and Captain Ron, and say that this is the rise of free market alternative media, that we're going to tell the truth whether people like it or not?
I think yes. I think it's kind of multi-layered though. I think yes, it is a media issue. But I think, again, I truly believe this election requires us to be the highest version of ourselves, and to also meet people where they are at, and to get inquisitive, because despite the media, there are many, many people out there who have done their own research, and, they believe what they believe for a reason. But I also feel there's a demographic that's not being talked about. And, that's kind of the different demographic where I come from, which is, and I want to be really careful about how I say this because I'm still exploring this and learning this, but there's a fixed belief system and it's kind of like a savior mentality. And there is a portion of Trump supporters, undeniably, who do not do research, don't care. I've had people tell me I don't have time to read a book. And, I have people who tell me minorities have it better in this country than everywhere else. They shouldn't be complaining. A lot of things that people like, I feel like us on this talk conversation can't even fathom saying. Your jaw just kind of drops. I've heard it all. I think it also requires, there is that group of people who do intentionally want, they don't necessarily want to hurt anyone, or they don't consider themselves racist. But if it were to happen, they would find a reason and to blame other people or to make an excuse for somebody like Trump should he cross the line. We don't know what's going to happen in 4 years, but they are the type of people, a fixed mindset, literally. They do not have the ability to accept responsibility for what comes about, and they will blame and they will make excuses no matter how extreme things get.
That's how I feel about Clinton supporters who completely ignore Benghazi, who completely ignore all the WikiLeaks, who completely ignore Podesta, who completely ignore all of the criminal activity that has taken place with Hillary Clinton. I mean, it's insane, and it's proven. And everything you just said about people, not wanting to do their own research, that's how I feel about all the people that are just, so there's a child sex trafficking ring, pizza and what was it, cheese. Those are code words for, the children.
Is that what it was, Ron?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, there's nothing like that linked to Donald Trump, and based on children and things like that, that is that's kind of a big deal to a lot of people.
Tony, that's a big deal to people, the child sex trafficking. I mean, they're not going to have any part of that.
Yeah.
The people that read that stuff. I mean,
Sorry.
would you concur with that, or?
What about you, Ron? Would you concur?
I concur.
There we go.
That right there should be reason alone why people should be like, what
And
the
you know
crap?
what, Angela, this may be like breaking, like bizarro news to you, but I
Yeah,
think
you
this
gotta
just,
research, love.
I think this just highlights how, we can complain about China and North Korea's media being controlled by Kim Jong-un and Chairman Mao. We have that same thing here right in America, and it's called the mainstream media. Basically, America at this point is the haves and the have-nots. We are basically North Korea with Disneyland and Tom Cruise and GMOs.
Brad Pitt.
So my point is, we are doing the job. I'm doing the job that Anderson Cooper refuses to do. I was in the CIA for 2 summers after college.
Yep.
All these people across, these wannabe journalists, these failed actors that couldn't make it as background central casting people in Hollywood, that are now on PMSNBC and CNN, which is CIA. What I'm saying is, this is all probably news to you, but I'm telling you, I looked at these WikiLeaks, and you have the Clinton people, you still have the mainstream media saying, let's attack the messenger, and let's never talk about what's in it. But they say, well, these things are faked and doctored. But my question is, Captain Ron, if this is faked, if the WikiLeaks are faked, why is Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the head of the DNC, who got caught, in bed with Hillary, why is she then resigning the next day? If Donna Brazile, the CNN anchor, head of the DNC, is caught in it, and then when you question her, she says, "I'm a Christian lady. I don't want to talk about that," and then gets fired. But I thought the WikiLeaks were fake, Captain Ron. Am I crazy here?
I don't think. Do a lot of people think the WikiLeaks is faked?
They don't even know about it, is what I'm saying.
Well, that
and I'm
I'll give you,
screaming
but I don't
at the
think people
top of
think
my
it's faked.
lungs.
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying is people like John Podesta, Donna Brazile, and Clinton operatives are saying, well, how do we know they're real? How do we know they're 100% legitimate? No, they are, because if they weren't, you wouldn't be resigning or getting fired.
Right, that's
you
true.
understand that?
They got caught.
That's true.
Anyways, I'm sorry, Angela. I don't mean to yell at you. You're a guest graciously on our show.
Also, I think if they were fake, there'd be stuff that's even more incriminating in there.
We just want
Well,
you
that's
to
what's
dig
coming
deeper.
out. That's what's coming out, and we only have a few minutes. So, Tony,
Well,
Yeah, we have about 2
She
minutes
wants to
left.
say something.
Okay,
later.
Angela, why don't you close us out, and we're gonna close the arena here.
Oh, well, I honestly don't, I'm not going to really, I don't feel like it's kind of, I don't know that it's important to spend our time, digging into Clinton anymore. Isn't she kind of off the table?
Yep.
But I'm more curious about Trump, and, one of his best friends is known to be a pedophile. I forget his name.
Epstein
and
and him are not best friends. Sorry.
good friends.
Which person would that be, Angela?
So he said, I forget the name of him. I forget his name. But I remember watching a video of him saying, or reading a quote of him saying that they were good friends. Yeah. He throws good parties.
Doesn't mean that he was involved deeper on the deeper levels.
She's probably talking about Woody Allen. So
no, not
we don't
Woody Allen.
Probably talking
I
about
forget
Epstein.
his name, but it's involved with the child
Jeffrey
sex case that's coming up.
Jeffrey Epstein, but that we've gotten into that, and Bill Clinton has been on 26 to 30 plus flights with him to Lolita Island, I think it was. But anyways,
Yeah.
I don't. We don't have enough time for that, Tony. Tony, I know we got to go.
are out.
We have to go. Angela,
Well, listen, next week if you could bring someone else on to heckle me during the news, that would be
sorry.
awesome.
That's what I love.
Because
That's
it's
what I love.
I really don't want to just read through the news and talk about it. I would like to be heckled the entire time. So let's go for that next week. Tony, you want to
This
wrap it
went
out here?
flip flop the way it was supposed to go, right?
Well,
I'm
Angela and
sorry.
Nicole, thank you guys so much for being a part of the show. We want to thank you,
you.
everybody, for
Thank
tuning
you.
in today. Angela, Nicole, where do people find you? Or if you want them to.
My Facebook page is open. It's open to the public. I have nothing to hide on there. You can just type in Nicole Nogrady, and I'm there.
Angela?
Same here. Facebook page is open, and it's Angela Hall.
What about you, Ron?
At Captain Ron.
Dean?
Well, it was Pornhub for a while, but I have
Gotta
moved-
pay the bills.
Yeah, I couldn't afford the host anymore. Just the real Dean Ryan all over the web. You know how it is, and look for me on eBay. I'm for sale.
And check us out on iHeart Radio, iTunes, YouTube. Subscribe, leave a comment. We want to hear from you guys.
Subscribe to this channel. We have
Yes.
over 8,000. I pledged to Tony on a drinking bet that we would get to 10,000 by
Friday.
by Christmas.
Oh, by Friday? Good. Okay.
By
That would be
Friday,
a good
what?
Christmas present. So we want to thank you guys. See you next week right here on Truth Be Told. Come up. Actually, check us out on Friday with Eddie and myself. We have some great guests coming up, so
Big
check us
time.
out. Till next time, bye.
All right.